Welcome to Mastering the Art of Success. I'm your host, Debbie DiMaggio. We are here today with Kim Kasparian. She is here, I believe, I forgot. Kim, is it Boston or Connecticut, or am I totally off?
Connecticut, Connecticut. Close.
Connecticut.
Boston's not that far away. So
I know who referred me, though. She's definitely from Boston. So welcome, Kim. So excited to have you here. I'm going to properly introduce you with this amazing bio, and we're going to see some images of you across the screen, and then we are going to dig deep. Kim is a
okay.
powerhouse in the world of sales, leadership, and business growth. With over 32 years of experience across some of the most competitive and fast paced industries, including telecommunications, direct sales, and corporate staffing, she brings a rare combination of strategic insight, real world expertise, and intuitive wisdom that transforms the way CEOs and teams think, operate, and succeed. Affectionately called the Success Genie, Kim is a unique gift for helping people unlock levels of achievement they never thought possible. Her clients describe her work as magical, yet deeply practical, because she blends proven business strategy with simple, tangible, and measurable action steps that produce dramatic results. Her signature methods consistently help leaders create 6 and 7 figure revenue leaps within 12 months, all while cultivating more peace, fulfillment, and alignment in their daily lives. Over her career, Kim has spoken to national audiences through radio, magazines, teleseminars, webinars, and corporate events. She is celebrated for her ability to simplify complex ideas, strengthen communication, and inspire individuals to take bold action with confidence and clarity. Her speaking style is both energizing and deeply relatable, making her a standout voice in the fields of sales leadership, high performance culture, and personal development. In her executive coaching and consulting work, Kim helps CEOs and their teams scale to 8 figures and beyond. She teaches leaders how to build and sustain ecosystems of trusted relationships, the kind of professional communities where collaboration thrives, support is genuine, and revenue is a natural byproduct of meaningful connection. Kim believes that business success is not built on time management or hustle culture, but on the managing of personal energy, optimizing strengths, and creating environments where people can thrive without burnout. Her transformative approach increases productivity and profit by up to 50%, helping organizations avoid costly hiring mistakes, strengthen internal communication, and develop people in ways that generate consistent profits in any economic climate. Her core philosophy is simple yet powerful. 8 figure business requires a team to build the dream. Without the right relationships and trust, nothing works. Kim is sought after for expertise in sales strategy, strategic marketing, marketing development, communication, coaching, leadership development, sales training, business coaching, corporate coaching, building motivational speaking. Whether she is guiding a CEO, training a leadership team, or inspiring an audience of thousands, Kim's mission remains the same: to help people create success on their own terms, financially and personally, and energetically, while building businesses that thrive from inside out. Welcome, Kim Kasparian. How are you today?
Good. How are you? How is sunny California?
It is sunny today, but it's cold.
Same here. Same here. Without the sun. It's cold here
Yeah,
without the sun.
I bet it's freezing there. So I always want to know how the guest came to be. So how did Kim become Kim? Did Kim set out to be a coach, or where are you from? What was your upbringing like? And how did you get to be where you are today doing all of these things?
Oh
You are
boy.
multi.
Okay, let's do all that under a minute. So I was born into a very Armenian, fun, dysfunctional family. If you watch My Big Greek Fat Wedding, is take out the Vicks and, take out the Windex and put Vicks. That's my family. Um, so Armenians don't get raised by a family, they get raised by a community. So I give credit to the community that raised me. So they get credit for this. But no, I came out of the womb wanting to be a dancer. I was dancing from the age of 3 through my teenage years. Took a break in between, and in my 20s I was an acrobatic too, so I was since
Wow.
a little tumbler grew into all that performing. And I was going to become, well, I wasn't dancing. In between dancing, I was going to become a doctor. I was on the 9 years old. I decided I wanted to become a doctor, and that was my path. And I had it all planned out, all the way to medical school. Um, Transition happened in college, and I realized I wasn't really, my reason for wanting to go in medicine was not aligned with the real reason why I loved helping people. And I realized there
Mhm.
might be a better way to help people than be in books for 10 years. And my passion was dance. So all through my childhood, I either owned my own business or I managed people's business. I was always in sales because I needed to make money and I needed to do what I love to do. So that allowed me to decide to go back to school in my late 20s to finish my degree in performance art, choreography, teaching, and a car accident totally ended what I thought was that reality for me. So that's probably the beginning of who I became, the genesis. It was I had already been before that age, emotionally, physically, financially, you know, put down on my knees. But this one felt different because I lost what I thought I was here to do. That was my joy. I had a lot of confidence in my ability to move and perform and just do. That was my journey into success is your birthright and you have value because you exist.
Mm.
That was the beginning. Um, the journey to here was never a straight line. Um, at the time, I thought I was walking away from everything that I thought was in store for me, and it was not a fun time. I was not as positive as I am now. I wasn't as wise as I am now. But looking back, I realized it was resetting my life and myself to have everything I wanted in a way that would be sustainable and part of my life forever. So there's a lot more detail and color in that, but for the sake of, our time, it just led me on a very profound journey that desires of the heart are always granted. Uh, letting go is not giving up.
Mm.
That was a hard lesson for me. I never give up. I don't care what's happening. It took me a long time to learn the difference. Letting go is really letting in. Giving in is not the same as giving up.
Right.
And
Right.
one life lesson, one life miracle at a time taught me something different than what I grew up with. You have to work hard, you have to do, push, push, push down the line all the time. And it helped me become a better person, but a better salesperson. With these lessons, I was able to find a career in sales that allowed me to do what I wanted to do, make the money I wanted to make, and then to have the life that I wanted to have. So that was the beginning of life balance. Like, how do you do it? Once I thought, okay, well, the settling down and, being like a normal person isn't so bad. Life booted me out of my corporate job like a baby eagle. I don't know if you guys know about baby eagles. They don't nurture their young. They take care of them until one day they go, "You're ready to fly. You've never done it before. Go." Um, yeah, I was like, "Oh, okay." I just bought a house and put my life savings into it, and I sucked it up and took a corporate job that I didn't really want, but I know I needed because I'm all mature and adult now. And no one asked me if I was ready to be, downsized. So that was the moment where it's like, okay, what do you want to be? A genie or a weenie? And I just made the decision. It was 2 weeks before my, performance in Lincoln Center, New York City with my dance troupe that I had trained for 3 years plus physical therapy. It was my big thing, and here I am without a job, 2 weeks severance pay, and I'm like, "You know what? We're gonna deal with it after New York because this is the thing I wanted it to do, and everyone was really great about it." So when I came back home, I just made a decision. I'm like, I didn't look at the checkbook, I didn't look at anything, and I said, "I am never going back to work for one more business owner that hires me for all my ability and my, relationships, and then won't let me nurture and leverage my relationships. I was just like, I could, yeah, I'm not doing this dysfunction anymore. So I took all the offers that I was getting, to work for people, and I said, I got a better, I got an alternative for you. How about you hire me to train all the people you got, and I'll make them look like me, act like me, and I don't have to be there because I don't,
Love it.
I just, all right. So they were like, huh. I go, and I'll do it in 90 days. Like, I'll triple their sale, help them triple their sales in 90 days. And you need more, you hire me for more, but like, just pay me to go do my life. And I'll come and they'll all look like me. You won't miss me. That's how it started. And I started my business. Back then we didn't have social media. I printed out flyers. Yes, I'm that old that we printed out flyers. And handed them out. And 40 people came to my first speaking engagement. And I just told them my personal journey and my approach to business, growing territories, growing relationships, making money. And people just started, they're like, I love this. Like, it was all by referrals. It literally was referrals, and doors started opening bigger than I ever thought I could ever walk through. And yeah, and I would just I would just have conversations, and they would tell me their issues, and I'm like, they go, "Can you solve it?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we can use this approach for that." And through the results, I kept on getting referrals. So that 30 years later hasn't changed much.
Wow, it's been 30 years since you've been doing this?
Almost 1999.
Wow, because you had a whole lot of life before you started this,
Oh my
just
god,
listening.
before, during, now, I always, this is what I tell people, because I go, listen, and I mean this sincerely. I'm Kim K, the original Kim K. Um, but I have more issues than tissues, more drama than a soap opera. I wish I can't. I do not lie. My life is going to be a book or a movie. I always tell everyone, like, who do you want to play you in the movie? But I have a way. What all these life lessons taught me was how to make what I call these things quirks
Mhm.
work.
Yeah.
And I found in talking to CEOs and entrepreneurial people who wanting to grow, as much as they hired me through reputation on creating money, what made them stay with me and refer me is that I understand that life is still happening while
Mhm.
we're doing all these things. And I guess I give them permission to be a human being. Where, and because you've had a really incredible career too, Debbie, that at least in the States, because I know we're both international, we're taught to put on this facade, this professional facade. I call it fa 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 la 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 blah blah blah. Um,
I love all your different
and,
sayings.
yeah, and I mean, and we pay good money, right, to get educated
Right.
and when you're behind closed doors, I'm like, put that aside. Just
Right.
talk
And
to
they
me like
have that permission to do in front of
right.
you.
Just talk to me like you're 6 years old. What are you excited about? What are you afraid to look at? And that's where the magic happens, because I listen to
Mhm.
all of it and I say, okay, great. And especially like in corporate, like, okay, we're here to make money. We're here not to make friends. If you make friends, that's great. We're here to make money. We're here to do a job. However, happy people, fulfilled people are productive people. So if it's not if you're not making money to go have peace and joy off the job, maybe you can have it on the job. But if there's no peace and no joy, do something else. And I've said
Absolutely.
that to CEOs, I've said that to middle management, I've said that to entrepreneurial people. And I'm like, you know what? I don't see the light in your eyes. So either we need to figure out how this can light you up, or we need to go do something else, because life is too short. Um,
Absolutely.
those conversations, just somehow, just being able to say that, giving them
Mhm.
permission to be like, okay, like, all right. They transform, and they, I mean, I have a whole methodology that does this, but by just giving them a breath of fresh air and telling them the truth, you know, it transforms them, to figure out how to show up to whatever they're hired to do, called to do, and have fun getting it done. So I come with all the business knowledge. I could sit in Harvard and teach with the best of them. But at the end of the day, no one ever said at the end of their life, I wish I worked more hours in the office. I
Right.
wish I made more money. They don't. They're like, I wish I spent time enjoying my passion more, or I wish I spent more time with the kids, or really wish I took more vacations. I wish I stopped and smelled the roses once in a while.
Right.
So my thing is like, hey, why don't we do both at the same time? And like
Absolutely.
just live like live like like it's happening now. So my life, my crazy twisted turn life stories somehow gives me credibility. Like, oh, like you didn't learn this from a book.
Right.
No.
No.
So I think in me telling my story, it gives permission to people to have their own story, and instead of like pushing it under the carpet and like acting like it's not there, they write it like the elephant it is.
I love it. No, it's so true. And so many things you said. Well, the first thing is yes, about I'm writing a book. It's almost done. I'm on my 15th and final chapter, The Mindset in Motion Method. And as I was working through with my coach and getting it all out there, she's like, oh, we need a story for this. I'm like, I've got one. We need a story for this. I've got one. So
I
I'm
have
just
one.
drawing from my lifetime, right? I don't have to make it
Mhm,
up. I have the story. So I think we're very similar in that way. But I do want to point out something you started with about
mhm,
20 minutes ago, was what I see in Kim. Two things. One is, through your dance, you had confidence, you had skill, you had persistence, you were dedicated to your craft of dance. So that was little Kim, and you were already laying the foundation for who you eventually
mhm,
became. So that's incredible. And I want to point that out because people will have kids or they have young adults in the family, and the sports help them to become that type of person or whatever they did growing up. So that's really important. And then the other thing was, um, what was the other thing? So your discipline, and oh, there was one other thing I can't remember I wanted to say.
it'll come back. It'll come back.
Anyways, it'll come back to me. um, so it's incredible. Oh, the more, yes, very important was that I noticed through all my podcast guests over the last couple of years, most of them had a, maybe not a traumatic experience, but most of them came, it hit the bottom at some point, some, catastrophe happened, some, whether they got pushed out of the nest too soon. I mean, a lot of people had negative things, or at the time seemed negative, but those things also got them to level up. It forced them to
Yes.
level up. So your story is not so unique. And it was actually, and I'm sure you'll agree, it was actually a positive thing in your life that put you to where you are today.
Looking back, yes. Did I have the wisdom at the time to embrace that as truth? No. I had endured a lot and bounced back, but that one was like the final, I'm done.
Right.
Like, yeah, I'm done.
Absolutely. So, could you give us an example of your methodology? I know we don't, it probably takes a while, but anything you can impart on
No.
our
All
guests.
right. So let me do it this way. So this is how I teach. This is when people come to me and say they're thinking of working with me or like, Kim, I'm so intrigued. Like, how did you do what you do? I live what I say. So when I say success is your birthright, it's not just a slogan. It's the
Mhm.
truth. You just need to, and what we're taught wrong. Okay. We're taught we need to do to become. No, we become so we can do. So success is ours, not is just for ask. All we have to learn to do is ask for what we
Mhm.
want, what we really, really want, like the Spice Girls. Don't tell me what you think you want. Tell me what you really, really want, and build our capacity to receive it. I was a human doing between being raised by genocide survivors and just my own wonderful dysfunctional family. I became a human doing at 12. I stopped
Wow.
being and started feeling I needed to prove my worth, prove my value. And that's why I think the accident happened. The university were like, okay, you're off the rails. We got to teach you that you have value just because you exist. And we're going to give you a very dramatic experience to learn that. I always, the life lesson was I am a success because I exist. I was a walking resume of results up to that point.
Mm.
Okay. Hollow inside, sparkled, bedazzled on the outside. No one would know that I was struggling with self-esteem at that time because I didn't know that I had value just because I existed. That was the gift the accident gave to me. Why it's so important for entrepreneurs or business people to understand is because money comes from your ability to create and hold wealth comes from your understanding and belief that you're enough, that you're whole, complete, and perfect. And life tries to beat that out of you, but you need to find that again. So even if people don't have time to hear the whole have fun, get it done framework, which there is a framework, it's about remembering who you are. You were born successful. You are successful. I don't care if like life is handing you, lemons and all you see in your bowl is pits. Okay. Um, Success is created from your latest mess. All my successes started with a big mess.
Mm. True.
So the have fun, get it done method is a mindset, a skill set, and a strategy all in one. And when I mean have fun to get it done, I am serious as the nose on my face. Before we can go make money, we have to feel like it's like a car. You want to go on the long distance trip, you check the tires, you check the oil, and you fill up the car with fuel. Fun is fuel. So I teach people the science of creating and holding success. And then once they get that, I'm like, sure, ask me any business question, tell me any business thing you want to do, I will map it for you. But I have found, because I've done it both ways, after my car accident in 2018, I started listening to the online experts because I moved my business online and I thought I was in a whole new world, so I had to forget what I know. Anytime I've led with marketing, business knowledge, and knowledge for the sake of knowledge, even my star pupils, clients were like Vinnie Barbarino and Back to Kotter. Any of you remember that? Like John Travolta, his famous, line with like who, what, where. Clients that I've taught that were crushing it. The minute I got away from the have fun, get it done format, they were like, "What? I don't get it," and momentum stopped. The minute I said, "Okay, forget that. We're going to show up to the have fun, get it done," which is basically mastering your 7 internal success skills, managing your personal energy, knowing how like to create the energy of success so success comes to you. I learned that the way I explain it is when I was in dance, if you all your little kids, they're little like 3-year-olds are all in line and we're like, how did the teacher get them to all stand in line? And like, it's because they on a stage or their room, everyone has a little horseshoe. And when you're 3, you have a horseshoe, and the teacher says you can do whatever you want in this horseshoe. Do not leave this horseshoe. You can have your left foot instead of the right foot. You could be jumping up and down. Stay in the horseshoe, and which was teaching them space and precision and alignment. As you get older, you get an X, and it's like whatever you're doing, spin, move. If I'm moving you, you always land on whatever X is nearest to you, right? Don't. So my have fun getting done method is like, look, you stay in your integrity, you stay in your where you want to be. You manage 7 skills, which basically you do that by showing up to fun, whatever fun is to you. Building energy, so it's like math. Like I have to do all these tasks. I need this much energy. What do I need to do to build it up? Or that's easy. I only need this much energy. So you instead of time management, I ditched time management a long time ago. I love my day runner. I'm still a paper girl, but I see the world as energy, like a dancer, movement and energy. So when I teach people how to do this, the phone rings, their money, like Kim, I just tripled my income and it didn't feel any harder. It actually felt easier. Or I said I wanted to meet so and so, and I literally was introduced to them next week, like the week after.
Is it
And they're
because
all,
they're writing this down? Is it because they're doing
no,
some sort
it's I do 4 things. Success is your birthright. Your needs are all, you have to own this. You have to learn to like operate in this. Success is your birthright. Your needs are always met. Secret to creating anything is you got what you got. You don't got what you don't got. And it is what it is. Those are the 4 truths of life. I don't care how you feel about it. I don't care what's going on in your life. That's it. But when you learn how to focus, manage, so managing energy requires you to manage your focus,
Mhm.
manage your belief system, attitude, grow your self esteem, stay in your success address, which I call integrity, which is a whole conversation. People think it's morality. I'm like, no, it's different. And have a strategy so you can commit to it. So many people, I call out all the late and greats. Anybody who tells you just go do it, I can't say it on podcast, but my certain fingers go up. Okay. Because I'm like, sure, if I knew how to just do it, I would have already done it. There's something in the gap. Or Anthony Robbins, who is one of my favorite mentors, because he's the reason why I'm still here on this earth, because I was like done with everything. And then I got introduced to him and he said, just do one thing a day. And I'm like, okay, as long as it doesn't interrupt me with General Hospital, I'm good. And I literally put the four biggest like goals in my life that like therapy couldn't fix. And in 30 days I did it. I was like, huh, I like that. So I mentored my business with him. But one of the pet peeves I had with Anthony, because I went to all his programs and come home and didn't even need a plane or a train to come home. But it didn't matter. Any seminar, I did them all. If you had I was a self-help queen. I went to everything. There was always a moment, like I'm all excited, come home, and it was always 6 o'clock in the morning. Because I'm, putting my face down. And it was like, oh, I forgot to ask him that. Or I'd go home with all this great stuff and go to customize it to my life. It's kind of like the IKEA box. You buy the build your shelf and you got all these parts and it doesn't quite match the picture. That was my experience. Every time I'd come home from a great workshop, event, and I'm like, that's what I'm gonna deal with. Like didn't have the PhD that Brian Tracy had. I didn't have the chutzpah that Tony had to bluff the government to pay him to teach him to do something. I just had me and needed to make the Brent mortgage in 30 days. So I decided to stand with everybody and say, that stuff you bought, yeah, like it's good, but it's not really fitting you. I'm going to customize it for you. I'm going to translate it and help you take all the gems out of it, leave everything that, and make you what you want. And following fun and managing my energy, knowing, and Stephen Covey is the one who got me onto this. He talked about, instead of daily goals, weekly goals, which always used to make me go like this, like I don't like that. He said, set 90-day intentions. I find that much more flexible. If anybody has more issues and tissues, more drama than the soap opera, I like the 90-day arc. And I grew up in Mary Kay. My mother was a director. I had sales directors, and I became a consultant and team manager down in that time. She always used to say, you can make or break your life in 90 days. Mary Kay used to say that. So I was like, oh, okay, that gives me a little runway. I can figure it out. And Anthony Robbins reinforced that with me. Like, just in 30 days, do this one thing a day, which was very doable, and I
Mhm.
didn't believe it. So I didn't believe it, but I showed up anyway. So basically, I just took in all the great of the great, Zig Ziglar, you name them, I've read them. And I just boiled it down to, how can we make it doable on my worst day? That's really the heart. How can you have fun, get it done on your worst day? Because if you can get it done on your worst day, you can definitely get it done on your best day. So it's a framework. It's a framework. And what I teach my clients to do, because everyone, if you're successful, if you've had a career, if you're making money, um, everyone learned how to goal set, right? We all know how to write goals. I tell people goals are lies. They're a lie the minute they come out of your mouth. I don't even want to hear a goal. I think goals need to be licensed like a car. You need a driver's license to drive a car. You should have a license to set a goal. It's just, and they're not the destination. They're the benchmarks. So they're like, people are like, what? Yeah, goals aren't, because I had a resume of achieving goals and I was not happy. and I was not fulfilled. And my clients and my CEOs, they're walking resume 10 times more, and they're like, Kim, I'm not feeling fulfilled.
All
I'm
right.
like, I
On
know.
that note, we're going to take a
Yeah,
quick commercial break and we will be right back
you got it. Come back and
on
figure out what I just said.
Did you know that your beliefs create your entire reality, but it's the subconscious beliefs that do most of the creating? Belief shifter and life coach Shiraz can help you identify those limiting beliefs and eliminate them, often in a single session.
Like it was almost instant, like I had relief right away.
Creating better health, relationships, careers, and finances. Let Shiraz help you step out of safety and into awareness.
Definitely something's happening. It's like a flow inside. Yeah, it feels good.
Whether in person or online, Shiraz provides personal coaching, belief shifting. Visit Shiraz at energeticmagic.com or call 416-529-7429. Energetic Magic. Find your greater happiness. Be well. Be aware. Be magical. Mike Zorek, a three-time California state champion in Greco-Roman wrestling at 114 pounds. Mike, blind since birth, was born in Hartford, Connecticut. He was a six-time national placer, including 2 seconds, 2/3, and 2/4. He also won the Veterans Folk-Style Wrestling twice at 152 pounds. In all these tournaments, he was the only blind competitor. Nancy Zorek, a creative spirit whose talents have taken her to the stage and into galleries and exhibitions in several states. Her father, a commercial artist who shared his instruments with his daughter and helped her fine-tune her natural abilities, influenced her decision to follow in his footsteps. Ms. Zorek has enjoyed a fruitful career doing what she loves. Listen Saturday mornings at 12 Eastern for the Nancy and Mike Show for heartwarming stories and interesting talk.
Welcome back to Mastering the Art of Success. I'm your host, Debbie DiMaggio. We are here with Kim Kasparian, the Success Genie. She just decided to be a genie instead of a weenie. I think you chose right. So let's pick up where we just left off.
Okay. So CEOs, brilliant business owners come to me because they're stressed out about their business or money. That's why they come to me. They either want to make more money or the money they have isn't making them happy. They're frustrated with their employees. They're feeling stressed out because they're not able to do what they want to do. I'll give you an example. One of my colleagues who I met him in the early part of my career. He used to be me, right? When I was doing coaching and he built his company to $5 million. And he goes, Kim, I'm in a gilded cage. He goes, I'm CEO now. I'm up at the top. I love being with the people at the bottom. And I'm like, so just change your business model. He's like, I don't know how to do that. I'm like, he had this thing, well, like the CEO sits up at the top by themselves. And I'm like, if you work your own company, you can do whatever you want. He was like, how would I do that? So people come to me who I would say on paper are more successful than myself. But yet they're coming to me because they're like, we hear you do something and like you help people make money and they're all looking great. And I want to feel and look like them. And what is this thing that you do? I basically say you need to remember that success is your birthright, even if you never work for another day in your life. They're kind of like, I go, money is not the measurement of success. It's a tool where it's needed. There is no substitute. But if money was the only definition of success, we'd have a lot happier millionaires and billionaires. So I take age-old wisdom, right, from any holy book. Like nothing's original. I just make it make sense. I'm like, and science, right? Desires of the heart are always granted. When was the last time you had fun? Just because. They're like, oh, no. So okay. So if you want to one of my things, if you want to make money, you need to go have fun. If you won't do that, you can't work with me. So I'll give you a quick story. One of my clients wanted to make more money. And I said, okay, what do you love to do? And he goes, I love to golf. So then we need to do more golfing. He's like, didn't you hear me? I came to you because I need to make more money. I don't have money for golf, right? And I said to him, did I ask you to pay for golf? No. I said, decide that you are going to play more golf because that's how you're going to make the money. Okay. Call me the next day. He's like, my boss invited me out to play golf on him. Okay. And then he started getting invited or opportunities to play golf where he didn't have to pay. Right. And he's like, I'm feeling really good. I'm like, okay, that's good. That's how we start. And all of a sudden, like then he's like, Kim, I just got a client or something happened. I'm like, great. How much? And he's like, I think I need to play more golf. And I'm like, I think you're right. So everyone who comes to me and says, Kim, I need to make more money or I want to feel different about my money. The question I ask is, what do you do for fun? And, some of them go, I don't know. I'm like, well, that's where we start. And, some of them I hand them a tequila because they're like, this is really stressful. I said, okay, but this is the way we do it. You want to get on the train, you got to pay the paper, you got to pay the piper. And what happens is fun resets their overall energy because deep down, the most upper crust, conservative, stiff upper lip person is 6 years old in an adult body. And I always say, we want what we want and we want it now. And we do. I don't care how educated, how whatever you are. And I always say, think about if you have children of a certain, or when they were 2 to 3, 3 to 6, did they ever worry about the how? They knew they were the rock star. They knew they were going to be loved and embraced. They knew they could be anything when they want. And they would do it right in front of you. They would decide in this moment to be Superman and in that moment to be a princess. And you could not tell them that they were riding a broomstick versus a horse. And they just felt it and experienced it, and it was fabulous. That's how the science of success works. That's what we call your genie. The part of you that knows you're great, you're whole, you're complete, you're perfect, your needs are going to be met. Like there's nothing to worry about. Just experience the life, whatever you want it to be. The have fun, get it done method organizes it because we are adults, right? We have life management. It's a management system. And for you guys listening or watching, without me explaining everything, which I do, you can come into my community for free and hear all about it. But basically, I want to teach you just to write down I wish I had a magic wand. I wish I could do Barbara Eden. But my wand, your wand is your pen. Spoken word in writing. And basically, I have my clients, the first time they start with me, is I just say, write down everything that in the next 90 days that you need to do, want to do, got to do, don't want to do, but need to figure it out anyway. Just everything. I call it a brain drain or a data dump. Mm-hmm. Just get everything out of your head. It's like clearing the cache of a computer. Like when your computer's running really slow, you just clear it out. Get it all on paper. There's something magical about putting it on a paper. You can even write down the things that you want. Oh, I want this. I want that. I want a vacation. I want that, whatever it is. If all you do is write it down and just tuck it away somewhere, within 90 days, opportunities are going to come.
And you don't call those goals?
No. Nope. One thing goals are the how, outcomes are the why or the what.
Okay.
Are the what. So, I don't know. I'll give you an example. One of my clients, she wanted to go to Paris. And she was like, well, I got to figure out how I got to get. I go, no, just decide you're going. She had friends in Paris. They invited her. I said, no, just decide you're going. Don't even focus on the how until you decide you're going. And she's like, how do I do that? So I'm like, just decide. Everyone has a way of making decisions. I'm like, just decide. And I said, then watch the how show up. She went to Paris and everything. She just kept, you keep on moving forward, knowing you're going to Paris. Do not focus on the details. If you've made the decision and she's like, Kim, client showed up, I had the money to go. there were some obstacles, things all got resolved, people showed up, helped me. So only when you decide and you're really connected to the why it's really important to you, and it's a feeling, it's about fun, it's about feeling excitement, whatever, only then, if you want to, we can break it down into goals. But the minute you focus on goals, you've cut off the energy.
Mm.
You have to live in the energy. And why I talk about this is because entrepreneurs create everything they do out of thin air. Most of us didn't start with, a fully funded corporation that had a bunch of people running around doing things for us, right? Just handed to them.
Right.
Everything we did, we created our business out of our creativity. We made the decision, we moved forward, we built it as we went. And then we start listening to the professionals, and they tell everyone tells you have to do it a certain way, do this, do that. And you start getting boxed in. Not to say some of those things aren't great, but when you start losing that inner connection, that inner knowing, things get heavy. And that's what business owners who hit the 7 figures and say, I'm ready to burn my business down. Or they're growing to 8 figures and they go, I can't stand my employees. What's wrong with me? It's not the external that they're aggravated with. They're like thirsty and they haven't had a drink of water in a long time. They're tired, but they won't give themselves a permission to rest because they think if they stop, everything's going to drop, or that's not what successful people do. So I use all these metaphors to teach them to have fun, to get it done, because the way you scale, the way you create momentum is you learn how to strategically slow down to speed up. I use metaphors like boating, golf, like whatever, but boats, like if you're a boat, speedboat, like you like ski jets. There are, like, if you're hitting a big wake, there are times where if you accelerate during the wrong, you will tip over or cause a lot of damage. To make the jump, or even in like race cars, like Evel Knievel, you have to downshift. So it feels like it goes back, but then it gets forward. It's physics. I failed physics in high school. My teacher would be so proud now that I like actually understand physics. But it's intuitive. It's like driving a stick shift. No one really they can teach you the mechanics, like this is how it works, but until you feel under your feet the relationship between the gas and the clutch, you grind a lot. In the beginning, we grind and the car stalls. But once, it doesn't matter how many times I told you, it's a feeling. You just know when the car's starting to, okay, it's time to upshift, or, oh, wait a minute, I got to downshift to make that curve. It's caught. You have to experience it. You can read a book and everyone could tell you, but until you're in it, you don't really understand the nuances of it. So I always start with fun and then manage the energy. Most people will like take their to-do list and try to chunk time, right? Many successful people, they break it out.
Right.
Well, if you're like moi, who has more issues than tissues and has physical injuries and energy issues because of life happening, my body is like a box of chocolates. Some days, you never know what you're going to get. If I went by time management, I would always feel behind the 8 ball and like, I'll never die. I'm so far behind. Once you see the world as it is, our whole world is energy. We are energy. Everything around us is energy. It feels expansive. It's like, oh, I got everything that I need. Even time, 168 hours a week. I'm already feeling stressed. You can just see if you can just see the world as it is energy, and you learn how to formulate, like, how much energy is this conversation required? Okay, I made sure earlier in the day I made deposits in my energy bank. Other things like sitting and doing some paperwork, that doesn't require a lot of energy for me. I do those tasks when my energy is low. It's very freeing, and it allows you to tap into your creativity and you start experiencing how success really works. You decide, you create a space, it shows up.
So it's
I
kind of
teach
like neuroscience, right? Are we talking about neuroscience?
now we call it neuroscience. They didn't call it that back
Right,
then. Right.
exactly.
Yeah. It was woo woo back then. But yes, it's neuroscience, and it's how the best, if you want to really understand all this, and like you're like, Kim, I'm with you and I get it, but I don't get it. Watch The Matrix, Keanu Reeves, The Matrix, the trilogy. It's the
Mhm.
closest thing to showing you what we live in and how to do this. But if you just follow, like you're like Kim, like I can't follow all this. Just go do what brings joy in your heart, peace in your spirit, joy in your heart. I find when we do this, and it takes no more than like 3 days. If you're really bone dry, you're like Kim, I'm like, the last time I had fun was like 1982. Okay. Just try this. You will solve a problem that you've been hitting your head against the wall for like a long time. Everything you are chasing will start to come to you. Either something will drop in your email, the phone will ring, and you'll be like, huh, this is the first thing I have people do, because the way I say it, oh, you want more money, right? And they can live in a multi-million dollar house and whatever. I say, whatever your life you're living compared to what you're visioning is a shitty little shack. Okay, it doesn't matter how, if you live in opulent gold walls, I don't care. Compared to what you want, it's an itty bitty shack. You are trying to bring all that goodness into an itty bitty space. Math don't math. Math don't math. It ain't happening. You either need to open up and be willing to, go, or if this is really important to you, we can put it inside the new house. It can have its own wing. But most people try to take more and put it in that 5-pound jar and wonder why it's not working. That's not a business problem. And if they've made 6 figures, 7 figures, 8 figures, I was born in the day, but I wasn't born yesterday to think you don't have the business acumen to do what you want to do. Of course you do. Why? Then you wouldn't be you. You wouldn't be coming to me with all the success. If you are not feeling the success you are, or you're not looking at all the wonderful things you created with, I'm the best, I'm awesome, you have an energy problem. You have an attitude problem, belief problem, energy. And the cure all is fun, because if you have enough fun, you'll be motivated to figure it out, whether the genie appears or not. Maybe you don't need the genie. Maybe you need, mindset in motion. Maybe you need a drill sergeant, whatever. Whatever you need, there's a saying called, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. That's an old saying. How do you make the teacher show up quicker? Fill up on fun, so when they show up, you're ready to go. And it's kind of like a GPS. You put in I trust my GPS more than I trust my own eyes, right? If I put the GPS and the GPS tells me to go right, I'll go right. And 9 times out of 10, I always get where I need to go. The have fun, get it done method is basically using yourself as a GPS. You can direct it towards money. You can direct it towards relationships. You can direct it towards whatever you want. It's an easier, faster way. So when people say, Kim, can you really help me create money in 90 days? Yeah. Yes. Depending on where you are in your evolution of, momentum in your business. Yes, absolutely. That's the way that we do it, because I know if you follow the framework, no matter how unique, interesting your life is, within 90 days, you'll always land where you decided you were going to be.
So one question, we're almost out of time. One of my teammates just asked a question, and I know you coach on a lot of things. So she's a realtor. She's a real estate agent. She's like, what one thing should I do to elevate my business this year? If I could do one thing.
Okay. Spend more time having fun, number one thing, and use that energy to build relationships. We
Very
don't
good.
build a business. We don't build a business by ourselves. I fill up on fun. I get my energy so I can create relationships that help me create my revenue.
I love it. I'm a big subscriber to building relationships, and that's why we're here today because I met you through another colleague. So, how we have 30 seconds. What is one thing that you would tell your 25-year-old self from where you are today? How would you look back and what would you say?
Believe in yourself. You're not crazy. And no matter what happens, it's happening for you.
That's excellent. Now, how do people get a hold of you, Kim?
You guys can get a hold of me, Kim at successgenie.com. If you want to reach out to me personally, you can lurk on LinkedIn. I'm Kim Kasparian on LinkedIn. If you want to come to Facebook, it's Kimberly Kasparian, or you can come join our community. Debbie's a part of it. It's called Business Owners Who Want to Scale. And I teach you and invite you to mingle with the other members and network. And we hold monthly soirees, which allow me to make introductions for you, kind of like JoJo did for us. I call it I call it my living room. For those of you who remember the sitcom Cheers, it's kind of like that. Come as you are. Once you come once, everyone knows your name. They're always glad that you came. But it's a place where you can show up human and do business. So you can just they're wonderful. It's an international community. Everyone is willing to help each other and cheer each other on and create resources for each other. So those are the places: LinkedIn, Kim Kasparian; Facebook, Kimberly Kasparian; or come ask to be part of our community, Business Owners Who Want to Scale.
I love it. Thank you so much, Kim, so much for your insight
You're
and
welcome.
wisdom.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Tune in each week for another episode of Mastering the Art of Success with host Debbie DiMaggio. Thursdays, 2 p.m. Eastern. Real stories, real strategies, real success.